Well, Canadian Competition Authority has gotten into the mix. The mix being the fight against monopolies. That's right, Canada does not want to be a few companies in a trench coat like us. The U.S. Canadian Competition Authority have accused Google of absolutely monopolizing the online advertising market. They're alleging that because Google owns 4 of the largest advertising tech platforms that it's a monopoly. And are they wrong? They do control somewhere between 40 and 90% of the market. Now, that's a pretty big gap, but it is hard to sort of quantify. And it's the Bureau of Competition Policy that's actually calling for the ultimate breakup of Google. Why? Well, they claim that Google's ad tools unfairly lock advertisers and publishers into its ecosystem. And it's this that is preventing the competitors from, competing. Essentially, Google is buying its way up, and that is business as usual for them. And if any of this sounds familiar, it definitely should sound familiar if you're living here in the States. Canada's case is mirroring and very much echoing the antitrust lawsuit that has targeted Google's ad practices here. And with Google's $31 billion ad revenue on the line, it is pretty much a big deal. This policy fight in Canada might turn out to be a lot larger than just Canada. I think it's part of more of a global initiative, a global push to actually rein in these big tech sectors before, the villain era truly starts. And some might say the villain era is here, babe, and I hear you're seeing. But man, is it a good season for the hat of America, because they are pushing policy after policy for updates to their legislation. Let me explain. In addition, for Canada going after Google, they're actually going after OpenAI as well. Canada's major publishers like CBC, The Globe, and Mail are all suing OpenAI. Yeah. And according to the Washington Post, they allege that OpenAI scraped their content to train ChatGPT without any permission. This lawsuit is definitely mirroring a trend in the United States. You see, we've covered many companies that have attempted to sue OpenAI over very similar things, like the New York Times with their copyrighted material. And Canada might be leading the way on this policy too. And it's all happening pretty fast, because as publishers begin to attempt to adapt, to this AI-generated content world of online spaces, they're also trying to draw that line in the sand, over intellectual property and creative content. So, Canada's leading the legal battles here, and they're against Google, they're against OpenAI, and they're against these really large tech companies. And it highlights that bigger issue that we keep echoing back to. Because governments and industries, again, worldwide, are pretty slow with even beginning the discussion around how to regulate big tech, let alone taking the leap in regulating big tech. So what do you think about these cases that Canada is leveraging? Will they set a precedent? Will they maybe even change the entire digital economy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Here's a fun story. If you want to take a selfie with Earth, you can. You'll need a satellite, you'll need Mark Rober, and CrunchLabs subscription. Is this even worth it? I don't know. Let me explain what's going on. According to The Verge, former NASA engineer Mark Rober, now turned obvious YouTube awesome guy, is taking his YouTube videos to a new atmosphere, a new stratosphere. I don't know. There's a space joke here. Mark Rober's latest project is a satellite that you can take selfies from in space. And if it sounds out of this world, it is. There it is, the joke. Right there. Mark Rober has partnered with Google and T-Mobile for a satellite that will launch in January of next year, so 2025, and SpaceX. And it'll all happen because of SpaceX's Transporter 12's mission. Once the satellite is in orbit, you'll actually be able to capture images of your portrait displayed on a Google Pixel that's framed from the curvature of the planet. I know it's hard to kind of fathom and picture. It is. And here's the cool part, or maybe the more relevant part for the viewer at home. Mark Rober is actually notifying everybody involved with this project when the satellite will be over their home state, their country. So you could photobomb your own picture. I don't understand how it's all going to work, to be honest. And no, it's not free, because in the fine print you do need a CrunchLabs subscription. And if you don't know, that's Mark Rober's engineering labs company. It's super dope, and you should check it out. This is not an ad, it's just kind of fun. You can learn all about it starting December 3rd when they release more information via the T-Life, which is T-Mobile's app, and through Mark Rober's website directly. But let's talk about that satellite that's heading up for this project, because the satellite itself is a bit of an engineering feat. Mark Rober's team actually designed the satellite, and it's equipped with dual cameras powered by Google Pixel. And in addition to that, it will leverage solar power to generate enough electricity for the battery. And no, the satellite has 0 thrusters to actually be able to adjust its position, but instead the satellite will use a flywheel system to rotate between its 3 critical tasks: solar energy collection, taking selfies, selfies, and of course, transmitting those selfies back here to Earth. It is very unique. Bigger question now for us at home is it worth getting the CrunchLabs subscription or switching to T-Mobile to take a selfie like maybe nobody else can? I would say no, but maybe there's something I'm not considering, so let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm saying it 10 toes down. Okay, I hit my chest too hard. I'm saying it 10 toes down, chest out. Bring back transparent, see-through technology, folks. Do it. Do it. Do it. The Verge article I was reading through was highlighting how many people are just like me and wanting this sort of old school technology back into the new school technology we currently have. You know what I'm talking about? The gray and black tech of the 90s also coming back, but the transparent, like colorful casings, I want those back. I'm talking about like the old school see-through iMacs, the Game Boy Colors, the Nintendo 64 controllers, all of it. Those were sick. Those were cool and very creative. And now we have better technology, a niche market that will absolutely bite. Okay, it's me. I'll bite. I'll buy it. I think flaunting the inner workings of a device is just awesome. We've already begun to see the resurgence with brands like Nothing and Beats, the Nothing Phone, Beat Studio Buds. These are just a few products that are sort of leaning into this resurgence that I really want to happen. But it's time we do an overhaul of all the accessible stuff. I think consoles, charger, USB-Cs, you name it. I think they should get a translucent makeover. I mean, again, we have the technology, right? Call me romantic or maybe gross, I don't know, but in a weird way, I think being able to see through this transparent sort of casing and having transparent tech kind of invites us into the enigma of it all, to see the guts, if you will, of our devices. And in a very small way, it is for the consumer to sort of celebrate the engineering, the masterpiece, if you will, in a cool way. That's equal parts kind of retro, but also modern. So why haven't we seen a huge resurgence? We know there's a niche audience for it. I think we know the answer. It is probably very expensive, and I'm sure there's plenty of companies that have done the list with the cost analysis for benefit versus profit, and it said that's not gonna do it for our bottom line, which sucks because again, I feel like the bottom line is always sort of just taking more and more and more away from the creativity of innovative sort of ideas or throwback ideas in this case. So let me just straight up ask, would you spend a little bit more on creative casings? Like, I don't know, if more accessible brands like Google, Apple, or whatever offered this color swatch, this color casing, this color build, I would. Why won't they just let us have the things we want to have? I want it. I want it. I'm selfish. I want it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Until next time, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.